Well, everyone, it's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And this week, we're doing a end of the regular season wrap up here for some baseball, and we have two resident Phillies fans, Dave and my brother Ethan, to join me to talk some baseball. And we're all happy because our teams made the playoffs. So there we go. But Dave, Ethan, thank you both so much for coming back on, as always, to talk some baseball on the channel.
Thanks for having us back.
Thanks for having me.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go division by division, give some general thoughts on how each of these divisions turned out, maybe talk a little bit about the wild cards in both leagues, and talk about some predictions for awards, maybe who we think should win the awards, and then do a run through of the playoffs, which begin as this episode is releasing on Tuesday the 3rd, will be starting tonight, with four games over the next 3 days. But let's get started with the AL East, arguably the best division in baseball, where the Red Sox let me down and ruined my prediction that every single one of these teams would finish above 500. And boy, did they come close, though. They were only 6 games below 500 and somehow were in fifth place. But Dave, what are some of your general thoughts on how this AL East shook out?
Well, it's definitely surprising when you see both the Yankees and the Red Sox have such a disappointing season, considering for the longest time they've been kind of the forefront of the rivalry there. But, it is nice to see some change there. Obviously the Orioles not only took the division, but they won a lot more games than anyone gave them credit for. So
Absolutely.
I think they have a lot of staying power too. They have that low payroll. I think they've done a great job building up their system. So I think they're going to be contending for that top spot for a while.
Absolutely. I know somebody who's definitely happy about the Orioles. Ethan, what are your general thoughts on the AL East?
It kind of went how I thought it was going to go, except for the fact that I didn't think the Yankees were going to do that bad to where they get eliminated like how many weeks before the season was over?
A week and a half, I think it was, mathematically.
So I didn't expect that, but I'm pretty sure the three teams that I said were going to be in the playoffs are in the playoffs. And I can't say I'm surprised about the Orioles. Maybe the 101 wins, because even the Braves, it's not that easy to do to get 100 something.
We
wins,
almost had,
especially coming off of your two seasons. 2 seasons ago, it was 2 seasons ago where they had 100 losses,
110
and then
losses.
they flipped that. Yeah, they flipped that in 2 seasons. So it definitely shook out pretty close to what I thought it was going to be. But yeah, it's still hard to wrap my head around like how bad the Yankees did.
Yeah, that guy with the mustache like me didn't wind up so well, did he? Mr. Rodon.
He had like a 6.64 ERA to end the season with them.
What, did he not record an out
nothing
game of 8
really
runs
worked
his
out
last start or something crazy like that? Yikes. Not good.
Nothing really worked out for them, and I can't see Aaron Boone being there anymore.
They should can him and Cashman.
He's got to go
because Cashman hasn't
He's
done
a garbage coach.
Crap.
Well, yeah, he hasn't done shit. He gets busts. Josh Donaldson. When you have to cut somebody like that with the money you pay that guy, Yeah.
So
He's no Howie Roseman.
yeah, looking at, you got the Red Sox, who were decently close to 500. I think most people thought they weren't going to do really well this season. They hung in there. They have some good young talent, and I think there's hope to be there. I feel like there's no hope in New York, despite the fact that they had a winning season. Um, the fact that Judge was out for like what 40 something games really showed how much they rely their whole entire offense on him. And somebody should be fired, and worse, for what they did to Anthony Rizzo and had him continue to play for 2 months with a concussion. If everything else wasn't bad enough that happened with that team, Cortez injured, Rodon injured, and then came back and was just straight trash. So, and I just have this sinking feeling the Yankees are like, we had a winning season, and then learned nothing from it. So, but yeah, really, Cashman and Boone should be out. Toronto underachieving at 89 wins somehow.
It is. It is.
Um,
Just the sheer talent they have. It's
Alek Manoah, what a fall from grace this season.
Yeah, he had a roller coaster year this year, but not even really. Just like the levels he went through.
No, it was
But
just
like
straight
he was
down.
just not good. He was
So,
just not good. He went down, then up, and then up, and then back down again.
and all those
I was like,
rumors,
what
though,
do
like
you
he didn't
expect?
report and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think he was injured apparently, but like that's just a hot mess. But you know what? They made the playoffs. They're playing the Twins in the first round, so like I think they're going to be okay at least in the first round. Tampa really, they underachieved the second half of the season compared to that insane start that they got, but still finished the
But
season.
overall, they still overachieved.
Yeah, they got 99 wins. And then the Orioles, one of the best young talent teams in baseball, who know how to play the new game of baseball with all the rule changes and everything. And them, and to extent the Diamondbacks and the Reds who were able to capitalize on that. It's just obviously one of them did a lot better than the others. But we'll get to those in a bit. But good for the Orioles. I'm really happy for them. I don't think they have the pitching staff to really like excel in the playoffs against some of these teams, but we're gonna find out. Especially since their closer has Tommy John surgery now and is gonna miss all next season too. Well, let's talk about the trash can that is the AL Central. I would like to at least start by giving so much respect to the Detroit Tigers, who came out of nowhere and finished second place in this division, who somehow beat the White Sox, who are probably the most underachieving team in baseball this season, and the Cleveland Guardians. So what a world. But Dave, what are your general thoughts on the AL Central?
Well, even going into the season, I really felt like it's either going to be the Guardians or the Twins.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Guardians would take it again, honestly, but I can't say I'm
No home
surprised
runs.
that the Twins pulled it off. I mean, it's still a pretty weak division. It's kind of sad that the state that it's in, but like you alluded to before, I don't really feel like the Twins or anyone else in that team, regardless of who gets in the postseason, really has what it takes to make a deep run.
No, poor Twins who can't catch a break and win a damn series in the playoffs. I don't think they've won a series in the playoffs since 1991 when they won the World Series, which that's 32 years ago at this point.
Hasn't it been a while since they even won like a game in the playoffs too? If I remember correctly.
Not
So,
great.
yeah.
At least they're not playing the Yankees this time, because apparently they
True.
keep getting stuck with the Yankees in the playoffs. Ethan, what are your thoughts on this division?
There's not too many thoughts other than it's a dumpster fire. It just underperforming, period. And it's not really exciting to watch those teams. I don't turn the TV on. However, the most notable thing that come out of that division is the great Miguel Cabrera played his last game yesterday.
Miggy. And he peppered in a couple of big things towards the end there. Tied Mel Ott for 25th all-time in home runs. So
he's the last active player to ever face the Montreal Expos. What the hell? There's no one that has ever in the league now that has ever played them.
Well, I
allegedly,
think
reportedly,
they had the graphic that it was Miggy, Wino, Rich Hill, Verlander, and Joey Votto are the longest tenured players in Major League Baseball, and I'm pretty sure 4 of them are retiring.
Rich Hill's never going to retire.
And, Greinke in there too.
He's up in the air, but I don't think any those other guys. Obviously, Miggy's not. Wayno's not.
Yeah, they're done.
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
I think
Greinke's crazy. You can't predict him whatsoever. So
he lost
there's not
17
really anything.
or 18 games this season. I think he needs to just go. The bad season. Bad season for Kansas City.
And it's a shame. The last game Votto potentially played in his career, he gets ejected in the first inning.
What a way to go out.
He got ejected.
I hope Bryce Harper gets ejected in his last game ever. I feel like that would be appropriate. He just chucks his helmet into his hands one last time.
It would be poetic. Whole ass uniform. He's going to be walking off the field in his jock.
Oh, man. That would be hilarious, though. Kansas City, only highlight Bobby Witt Jr. on my fantasy team. So good for him with this 30-30 season. White Sox, just an atrocious disappointment. Guardians, big disappointment. They probably should have been in the playoffs, but they didn't.
Yep.
They didn't hit the home runs.
Pretty sure.
At all.
Yeah, that is the team that you would think out of anybody. Like the Twins had a chance. They did take it because they have some guys that high risk, high reward, and they got rewarded for it. But the Guardian, it's crazy to see with the talent they have on that team that they didn't make the playoffs in such a shitty division.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say it. I think Detroit's the team to look for moving into the future. They had some good young players that gave them a decent run. They have the same record as the Red Sox at this point. So look at that. And then the Twins, they have the most consistent talent, I think, in this division, and which still isn't great. And
it's not long. It's guys that they signed that are relatively old in baseball years anyway. Well, I mean, Gallo's not going to be around forever. He just hits home runs and strikes out.
Mm-hmm.
But not
Correa.
the level of someone. Correa's good, but he's not that $300 million man he wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Not worth that much, at least.
Well, good thing nobody paid him that.
I know. So. I mean, that's what he wanted. He was going to get paid pretty damn near that, and then 2 failed physicals later, he went back to the friggin' Twins.
Yep. And
so
it'll be interesting to see Sonny Gray and Paulo Lopez pitching 5 innings to start in the playoffs. Seeing as apparently that's all they can do.
Well, didn't he take a dump? He was doing really well, and then Sonny Gray took a dump.
No, Sonny Gray was consistently one of the best pitchers in baseball, pitching 5 innings a start.
Yeah, that's you.
5
can't
innings
do
to
that.
start. So like that's
I mean, they've made the playoffs, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you can do that. Or you cry when you have to go out for the 7th inning.
Oh, isn't that Kirby or somebody on the Mariners? Speaking
somebody
of
on the Mariners, yeah.
AL West, ooh, I'm sure Seattle fans are sad right now.
Man, that whole freaking race towards that stretch where Houston might not have actually freaking gotten into the playoffs is
And
absurd.
the Diamondbacks
Like
had
how
to go get swept by them and ruined it.
Yeah.
As a Diamondbacks fan, I am disgusted by the fact that we had a job for the good of the game and didn't do anything. And swept by the Astros so they could come in, not only make the playoffs, but win the division and get a bye. How pathetic's that?
All those old people need the bye. That's an old team.
It's so pathetic that they get a bye, barely slipping into the playoffs because the Twins suck so bad. So there you go. Sorry. And as mediocre of a division winner that they are. But Dave, what are your general thoughts?
Well, first I would like to congratulate the Athletics for reaching 50 wins. I think you might even consider that overachieving for them at this point. Angels, I mean, what can you say? Another disappointing year. I don't think Ohtani will go back to them.
No.
It's a real
Not with
shame.
how that season ended.
Yeah.
When they had signs that they knew he was hurt and kept running him out there.
Yeah.
He cleaned out his locker. Like, I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah. They might not even be able to keep Trout now either.
He was in the Oh man. Request a trade, go to Philly, baby. Let's go.
Sorry, Brandon Marsh.
Come home, sir.
We send Marsh back to
sorry, buddy, you're back up.
Or Harper.
We can't do that to him.
Or what happens is they let Hoskins go. They just keep Bryce Harper permanently at first base, move Brandon really Marsh to left field, and then keep Mike Trout in center.
DH Schwarber?
Yep.
Just keep DHing him? I mean,
I think we've had enough of him playing left field.
I don't think anybody wants him playing left field. I don't know if he wants to be playing left field.
He got a little better.
He played bad enough that he had a negative WAR this season. I think, that's not great. It is fun watching him run, though, until you realize what it cost the Phillies. Watching him run across the outfield. But yeah, Angels just what a joke. And the fact that they bought and then had to fire sale them all. And a whole bunch of them went to the Guardians, who then didn't do anything. So what a triangle of misery the White Sox, the Angels, and the Guardians were.
They just don't know what they're doing. It's just baffling the decisions that they make.
They need a new owner.
Is it safe to say that Giolito is not sought after arm at this point?
Probably not.
Yeah.
That didn't look so great. And then those poor Mariners came so close.
That's another disappointing year for them.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they always get so close. And then
got to be quicker than that.
It's just frustrating. Like you said, Houston just manages to sneak in and even gets the first round bye.
I wish I was wrong when I predicted them to still win their division, but somehow
Fuckers find a way. There's nothing to say about it. Okay.
Well, they just
find a way.
They got Verlander back to put back in that rotation.
It was all planned, Shane. It was all planned.
Milk the Mets for their money and then jump ship back to the Astros.
Yep, it was all planned. Insider trading. No.
Just Tucker and even Altuve underperformed this season compared to what he usually does, and they were able to do it.
I think a lot of that had to do with breaking his hand.
Well, yeah, he was injured for like the first month or two of the season, so like.
Well, he missed because of that, and then he was on the IL again or something. I don't know if it was just stemming from that or what, but he didn't come back 100%.
You got Yordan Alvarez, who
everybody's Bryce Harper. You can't come back that quick. He has lion blood in him or something, tiger blood.
I don't know who wants to pitch to Yordan Alvarez in the playoffs, but nope. But yeah,
no.
Astros did again. And how did Texas get 90 wins, tie for the division, when DeGrom pitched how many starts? And then Scherzer pitched how many starts after they traded for him? And somehow they still had 90 wins and made the playoffs.
Their other starters stepped up. All those little moves.
Yeah.
That they got. Evaldi. There was a handful of them. They had they could have had a 6-man rotation with all the arms they had, and they stepped up.
Well, they needed it because some of them didn't make it. So,
yeah.
And that offense is crazy. So, Corey Seager.
It helps when you start on fire. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't be in the playoffs.
No, that they scorched earth that opening series against the Phillies. But who's laughing now? Who has the same record? So, the Phillies.
We shall see.
No, they literally do have the same record. They finished the season both 90 and 72.
Season's not over yet. Huh?
Okay.
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Now let's go to the NL East, where the Washington Nationals almost didn't finish in last place, but the Mets almost did.
That would have been the only thing I could say that surprised me about the division, if the Nats actually came in fourth.
They came close too. They almost
would have been awesome. It would have been awesome.
Yeah, Washington was one of the most overachieving teams in the league at 71 and 91.
They have a lot of really good young players.
Yeah. I'm shocked they didn't trade Josiah Gray at the deadline. I figured somebody bought him.
They could have got more farm guys, but not everybody's the Orioles.
No, they don't have like 35 minutes away from them or something.
It's very close. It's like a half hour.
How did the Marlins make the playoffs?
They kind of snuck in there at the end.
Arise. Mr. 355 or 356.
Everybody's talking about how those Astros slipped in and won that division. How the hell did the Marlins slip by the Padres, the Giants, the Reds, and the Cubs? And the Diamondbacks, for that matter, taking their
doing the little things. They play like the Diamondbacks do. They have a lot of really fast guys, and they hit.
And they got that Jake.
You don't have to hit home runs to win.
And
he friggin' had a career revival going over there, and then Bell helped get picked up. He hit some serious nukes.
Yeah, they both wanted to get the hell out of the AL Central and show up and be like,
I don't blame them.
we
Let's
might
go
be on
play
the
some
Marlins,
meaningful
but we're
baseball.
taking them to the playoffs. So,
And they did.
and they did. But how about them Phillies? Speaking of scorched earth, the Phillies offense since the start of August. How many home runs did they hit the past 2 months?
Well, August they had what, 56, 57? The most ever in August, next to the 2021 Dodgers or 2020 Dodgers.
Yeah, but here's the issue. The Braves hit 50 home runs every month the whole entire season.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's nothing you can do. The Phillies have, I think, this still the second best record after the All-Star break or June something. You can't do shit about it when you're already behind a team and they don't lose. Like, you can't do a damn thing about it.
They did finish 104-58. Dave, what are some of your big standouts about the NL East?
Well, the first thing that sticks out is how the Mets had that massive payroll and had such high expectations. You know, you can't describe their season as anything than just a total failure. You know, I mean, a payroll doesn't guarantee that you're going to finish, you know, with a record like some of these other teams with over 100 wins. But, you know, even if they didn't beat the Braves, you would have thought they'd at least get into the postseason. But it's just one of those scenarios where I guess everything that could go wrong did go wrong for them.
Yeah, that Verlander Scherzer experiment was not great. And they want to trade Pete Alonso this offseason now. So, like, why would you get rid of him?
Yeah, that's surprising.
I don't know, man. They could probably get like 5 pretty good prospects for him, honestly.
The Milwaukee Brewers.
4 or 5 of them.
So
it doesn't make sense to keep big names who are going to seek big money, because they show it doesn't matter how much you spend. They try to be the Yankees, and they didn't even freaking come close. It's not like they just missed the playoffs.
No.
They were almost a bottom feeder.
They were 10 games basically out of the wild card.
So,
like the Pirates
they need to do something, and I'm pretty sure it's a fire sale is what has to happen, because buying players does not work for the Mets. It rarely works for anybody else either.
I would like to acknowledge Kyle Schwarber and his sub 200 batting average, 47 home runs and 100 plus RBIs as a leadoff man.
And 100 plus walks.
And runs.
We were one grand slam away from having 3 players with 100 RBIs.
Yeah, boom.
Where Alec Boehm hit that sac fly, if he hit that 30 more feet, we would have had 3 of them.
And then you look at the Braves, who have 5 hitters.
He's a sneaky MVP of that team. The what?
I was saying the Braves have like 5 hitters who have 35 home runs or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have to talk about all the shit that they're doing, because it's fucking just it makes everybody else in baseball, all their feats look like shit. Because I mean, that the team's just fucking insane. Like, you got a guy, no one hits 100 and hits 50 plus home runs at 150 RBIs anymore. This isn't when Ryan Howard's playing. No one gets that many RBIs.
Do you think they miss Freddie Freeman?
No.
That's the interesting thing, isn't it?
him just because he's Freddie Freeman, but he had an MVP season too.
We'll get to talking about who the hell's going to win the NL MVP. It's interesting.
It's not a rise anymore. He did not hit 400.
He's nowhere close. You have 4 people, and the number 5 was Corbin Carroll, who's like away from everybody else. NL Central. What a division this turned out to be too. Dave, what are some of your general thoughts on the NL Central?
First, how disappointing the Cardinals were. After they looked so strong last year, I thought they'd be a shoo-in to take this division.
Nope.
And not only did they not take the division, but they landed at the very bottom, like even below the Pirates. So,
yep.
I can't
you know
imagine
you're
them
in
being
bad
that
shape
bad again here. But
and then you have the Pirates, who started off super hot. O'Neal Cruz got hurt, and then their whole entire season went down the toilet. I wish it was Cincinnati instead of Miami that slipped in there and got that last spot.
Yeah.
They were looking like a lot of fun. They were winning.
Yeah, the middle of the season.
I agree with you because I don't like to play the Marlins.
That too.
Well, if the Diamondbacks didn't get swept at the end of the season, you probably weren't going to be playing the Marlins. So
I'd rather not have to play the Diamondbacks because I just don't want to have to. I don't know. I don't want to play the Diamondbacks, Shane.
We'll see you in the NLCS.
Yeah.
The Phillies and the Diamondbacks would both have to beat the Dodgers and the Braves.
Yeah, if that happens, we just won't talk for a week. Because it's gonna be
if the Diamondbacks not only beat the Brewers and then beat the Dodgers in the playoffs, I'm not going to talk to anybody because I'm like, I'm done. I'm happy now. Just not watch the rest of the playoffs. That's a lie. I'm going to watch the rest of the playoffs, but like, can you imagine? But we'll get to the West in a second. Cincinnati looked so good for so long and then puttered out. Cubs got straight decked by the Diamondbacks in 7 games. They went 1-6 against the Diamondbacks, which that's the reason they're not in playoffs because boy did they collapse.
I mean, they did pretty well this year, but
yeah. And then those Milwaukee
people don't believe
the best team in baseball since August 18th.
Good for them.
Except Woodruff is injured and will not play in the wild card series.
That's already a win for you.
But I didn't believe in the Brewers at all. I thought they were going to choke again, but boy, did their pitching step up. And somehow they clinched with Rowdy Tellez on the mound.
Oh, yeah, Rowdy Tellez, that fucking guy. He's a specimen. He is legitimately the epitome of a baseball player. It's fucking beautiful.
He would not be playing any other sport. I don't even think he's built like a lineman for football either.
No, he's a big dude, but not big enough to be a lineman, no.
But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from this division is the fact that the Cardinals did not trade Paul Goldschmidt or Nolan Arenado, which I think was a mistake.
Which they should have.
Yep. So
big
mistake. And for the record, Christian Walker finished with better stats this season than Paul Goldschmidt. Which is very strange. What do you know what that means? Christian Walker is getting traded in 2 to 3 seasons. So, uh, uh, and then to the NL.
Don't want them to do that good.
Let's just acknowledge that the Rockies rockied and ended the
To
season
no
with
one's surprise.
Did you know this is the first time they ever lost 100 games?
That is shocking.
Apparently, the Angels are the only team in baseball to never lose 100 games in a season.
Wow.
They're just terribly mediocre. So Rockies definitely did not do anything this season. I know I'm going to let Ethan talk about the San Francisco Giants and they're puttering out at the end because I know Ethan will get great satisfaction talking about this.
That 100+ win season was a fucking fluke. And we found out a couple days ago that it was a fluke. Because Mr. Tan-ass jackass got fired. Worst manager of all time. I don't give a shit what anybody says. He is horrible. He should not be coaching in baseball, and I don't believe he's ever going to get a job again.
Announced the new athletics manager, Gabe Kapler. I heard that
he'll do well in Las Vegas with his tan and his new tattoo. Thinking
God.
He's young and shit.
He looks like he would be a manager of a Las Vegas baseball team. What I heard is Bob Melvin.
He looks like he belongs at like. Huh?
I heard Bob Melvin might be jumping ship from San Diego to San Francisco. That'd be interesting.
Well, that's open. The Mets coaching job's open.
What did Buck Showalter retire?
No,
retire? Or did he just step down?
I heard that they fired him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I heard the same thing. But the reports were saying that like Buck Showalter was the one, I guess, like who broke that he's like not going to return. I don't know what went on in the office, what they were talking about. He probably
did the same thing that Verlander did.
I would have pulled a Gronkowski. I would have done what a Gronkowski did and fake retire to get the hell out of somewhere and then come back a year later.
There you go. San Francisco spiral.
It's not his fault
at the end.
I mean, they are who we thought they were.
Somehow, San Diego finished 2 games out of the wild card, same record as the Yankees, and they have a potential Cy Young winner. How many players with 35 home runs and a whole bunch of stuff? They have the lowest ERA out of any team in baseball, and yet they didn't win.
They were leading in a lot of categories. Somehow couldn't put it all together.
Their run differentials of
That's
plus
this is what happens. When you blow out teams and then you don't score runs for 3 or 4 games, shit's going to look inflated a little bit.
Or you lose all 12 extra inning games you played this season.
That's no bueno.
They were 0-12 in extra inning games. So they're not clutch.
If they won a quarter of them, they were in the playoffs.
Yeah, literally.
You had to win 4.
Yep. Well, technically,
that's wrong math. You had to win 3.
Yeah. They could have won a 4th of them with 3 games and been in the playoffs, and they didn't. They're not clutch. I don't think they're a well-oiled team. And
that's what happens when you're cocky.
I think they need a different manager than Bob Melvin to catch that vibe.
I can guarantee you, at his age, He doesn't gel
No.
with the young egomaniacs that they have on that team. Because every single one of those dudes has an inflated ego.
Yep.
And they like pimping shit and not running out because they think they hit a dinger when it was a double. So, yeah, maybe they need a young guy who's like, I don't give a shit. Do what you want.
In comes Gabe Kapler, new manager of the San Diego Padres.
Apparently doesn't let you do whatever you want, though. I don't know. Fuck him.
The Arizona Diamondbacks. What a season this was. Had a stranglehold on that division lead and then torpedoed. Looked like they were done. Came back like a vengeance, and then whimpered into the playoffs after destroying the Cubs in 7 games. They know the new baseball. That's what got them there. Corbin Carroll mullet power. All their young players have mullets and like Jake McCarthy and his disgusting mustache. They have an interesting collection of players that they got to this, and Gallen and Kelly, even though they were pitching kind of like crap for a decent chunk of that stretch towards the end, they made the playoffs with 2 starters.
Yeah, my fantasy team suffered from
Gallen
taking a dump.
So basically, the Diamondbacks had 3 starters and 3 semi-bullpen games in a rotation and somehow made the playoffs. So we're going to see how that
goes. Baseball, dude.
That's baseball. And F the Dodgers. And those are my thoughts. 162. You just had to be the Dodgers, didn't you? Knew it. Again. See, every year we do this, I'm just going to keep saying the Dodgers and the Astros are going to keep winning divisions.
Maybe you should stop manifesting it.
Between Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, boy, did their offense look good. And look how many injured pitchers they had, and they still won 100 games.
JD was doing pretty damn good, too.
Well, Muncy and Martinez both finished with 100 RBIs, too. They have 4 100 RBI players.
In a league where not many people get RBIs.
So
it's turned from you should have your best should be 1 for every home run you have 3 RBIs, and then it turned into just under every home run you get 2 RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people are going past that now. Finally.
But, Dave, do you have any other thoughts to add about the NL?
Mainly just about the Padres having what seemed to be total, like a really strange season, I guess I would say. Like, they just barely finished over 500. Like you said, they did have a lot of crazy good stats. I agree that they don't function as well as a team as they should, but even saying that, I feel like the team they were last year is more along the lines of what I would expect from them in the future. This just kind of felt like an outlier where, for whatever reason, things didn't click. But other than that, I mean, the Giants tanked really hard. I feel like a lot of the teams that were, in the conversation for the wild card out of any division did that this year in the National League. There were so many, like them, the Reds, the Cubs, that just looked like they were like really great. And then in these last few weeks, they just fizzled out like really hard. So, strange way to end the season, but, interested to see the teams that did get in, Diamondbacks, of course, which you are very happy about. And the Marlins, which, like Ethan said, I feel a little uneasy about because they always seem to give Phillies trouble, but we'll see how that goes.
We shall see. We'll get to the playoffs in just a bit, but I'm going to run through some stats real quick. So OPS, the new god stat. Shohei Ohtani, 1066, ended the season with a 50-point lead over Corey Seager. And the Braves had 3 players in the top 10 in OPS.
Absurd.
Acuna, Olsen, Marcell Ozuna. And Bryce Harper finished number 10 at 900. Batting average. There are literally 5 players. So there weren't even 10 players qualified that hit over 300 this season. Because Harper batted 293 and finished 10th in batting average. Interesting. The home run program.
Which is weird.
Yeah. Oh my God. So home runs. Matt Olson, 54. Schwarber, 47. Pete Alonso, 46. So 3 National League players. Who led the American League in home runs? Shohei Ohtani.
And he missed the last 2 fucking weeks of the season. Or more than that.
No, he missed the last month and a half of the season.
Yeah.
Like, how's that possible? And you know who had the 4th most home runs in the American League? Aaron Judge with 37. And he missed 50 games. So, that's interesting.
Well, shit.
He got his 40, and Mookie Betts missed 40 by 1 home run.
That sucks.
And the Braves had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with 33 home runs or more. Matt Olson got the RBI crown by 20 RBIs with 139. There were a lot of people clustered between 100 and 109. There's about 14 players clustered around there, including Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber. Acuna had 149 runs.
That's absurd.
Freddie Freeman had 131 runs. Matt Olson had 127 runs, and Mookie Betts had 126. Corbin Carroll, 116. Kyle Schwarber finished 8th in runs with 108.
With a sub 200.
Yep. Hits. Acuna, 217. Freddie Freeman, 211.
It's a shitload of hits.
They both had more hits than Arise.
Wow.
So, put that in perspective. Doubles. Freddie Freeman, 59.
Another absurd number. He has stupid numbers this year.
Yes. Castellanos, 10th with 37. There were 5 players with 40-plus doubles this season. Triples, Bobby Witt Jr., 11. Corbin Carroll, 10. Carroll should have 9 because he got thrown out at home going for an inside the park home run for one of those triples. So, Shohei Ohtani had 8 and finished 5th. So he should have finished the season with the most triples, I guess. So played in every game club. There's 4 players who played in 162 games. Matt Olson, Marcus Semien, Juan Soto, and Eugenio Suarez. And Kyle Schwarber played in 160. Walk Club, Juan Soto, 132, Schwarber, 126, and then dropped over 20 walks to the next person. Strikeouts, also Kyle Schwarber, 215, and Castellanos, 185. Teoscar Hernandez with 211, Suarez with 214, and Ryan McMahon, 198. Interesting. Stolen bases.
Tony Gwynn would be
disappointed. Mm-hmm. Stolen bases, 73 for Ronald Acuna Jr. Estuary Ruiz, 67. Corbin Carroll, 54. And Bobby Witt Jr., 49. And then slugging percentage leader, Shohei Ohtani, was 654.
Duh.
Pitching. There were only 5 pitchers with sub-3 ERAs this season, unlike last season when there was like 50. Blake Snell, a 2.25 ERA. Garrett Cole, 2.63. Garrett Cole's definitely winning an AL Cy Young this year. Sonny Gray at 2.79. Kyle Bradish, 2.83. And Senga, 2.98. Most wins, Spencer Strider and his thick thighs and mustache got 20 wins. Zach Gallen, 17. Special shout out to Taijuan Walker, who had 15 wins.
He should not have, but yeah.
What? Ow.
Offense.
Ow.
Offense.
To be fair, he pitched like every game until the 7th inning and would still give up 4 to 5.
To be fair.
So, and then the really sad one, loss leaders. Jordan Lyles, 17. Patrick Corbin, 15. What a deal the Nationals got. I'm so sad that the Diamondbacks didn't keep him. Lucas Giolito, 15. Zach Greinke, 15. Rich Hill, 14. Josiah Gray, 13. He pitched way better than losing 13 games. I wanted to see. I swore there were some relief pitchers that were pretty high up there in losses. But let's see. Shutouts. Actually, let's just go complete games. Alcantara, 3. Lyles, 3. And that's about it. Saves, Clace, 44. Bednar, 39. Doval, 39. Diaz, 37 from the Reds. How did the top 4 closers in baseball not make the playoffs?
What happens when you play a lot of close games?
Josh Hader, 33. Innings pitched, Logan Webb, 216. Zach Gallen, 210. So there you go. Nola and Wheeler, top 12.
Both at 200 plus, right?
Yep. And then, where are those strikeouts? There we go. Spencer Strider, 281. Kind of wish he got the 300. Zach Gallen finished with 220. Wheeler made the top 10. And then whip, 1 sub 1 whip. Garrett Cole, 0.98.
Yeah, he's winning the Cy Young.
Most walks in baseball, Blake Snell, 99. Despite having the lowest ERA in baseball.
That's funny.
You don't let him score.
He had the lowest batting average, opponent's batting average at 181, but then walked 99 people.
That's exactly why he had a 220-something ERA.
Yep.
Because no one hit when they got on base.
Alrighty, so quick round. Managers. Who's winning in the NL?
Snicker.
Who?
Brian Snicker. Whatever the hell you want to pronounce his last name. The Braves.
Braves manager. Yeah, I think the Braves manager is winning manager of the year.
Yeah. You can't have a team like that and not win manager of the year. So
Thoughts, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised they did well, but just how well they did, it's hard to argue anyone else other than him getting it.
I'll give a special shout out to Craig Counsell.
Yeah.
Because they low-key had 92 wins this season.
Doesn't feel like
Fair
it,
enough.
but they did.
Let's
True.
see Thompson
Does
get
not
in
feel like
the final 3. Well, that'd be interesting. AL.
Brandon Hyde.
Is that the Orioles manager?
Orioles.
Yep. Easy.
No fucking question. If he does not win.
That's an easy one. It's gotta be.
Rookie of the Year, National League. And if you don't say mullet power, I'm going to come through the screen and punch you.
It's going to be a little difficult to find anybody who had a better season than that. He was almost a 30-30 guy.
Yeah.
So. And then, so yes, Corbin Carroll wins. AL. Who's that Red Sox player that they got?
I'm still going. Yeah, shit. What the hell is his name? I'm going with Gunnar Henderson.
Oh yeah, Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
He doesn't have the average, but he has some pretty he's still really.
Well, is Holiday winning next year?
Yeah.
It's Jackson Holiday, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the majors at the ripe age of 16. Who always looks that way. I guess
he
reliever,
looks like a baby.
reliever of the year, I'm guessing Clayson Bednar, because they lead in saves. Maybe Hader, because he had like an insane low ERA or something like that. NL Cy Young. I feel like Blake Snell's winning that.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the lowest ERA, lowest a really freaking low batting average against. He's always up there in strikeouts. I can't think of a pitcher who's had like a standout performance this whole season.
And I would like to say, if anybody says Spencer Strider deserves to win that, you can go somewhere else. With his floating near 4 ERA.
Yeah, it's straight up. It's Blake Snell. There's not really a question to that one.
And then do we all agree Garrett Cole wins the AL one?
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yep.
When you have Shohei Ohtani miss all that time, yeah.
Yeah. MVP AL still
You're
Shohei
welcome, Garrett
Ohtani.
Cole.
Who's winning the NL MVP?
Cunha.
It's hard to go against that purely based off of he made his own club. But Freddie fucking Freeman, dude. I'm still going with Freddie Freeman. And he can't be like, well, because he's a Brave. You can't give him props. It's like he was a lifetime Brave, so shut the fuck up, people.
It's hard because like Mookie's right in there too. I don't think Matt Olson's
he's
gonna win, despite the fact that like he hit big so much. I'm going to Cunha.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the like analysts aren't giving him enough credit for the 70 something steals, but like that's part of today's game.
Brian friggin' Kenny doesn't put shit into that, but like it gets you into scoring position or 90 feet from home plate. Like stealing has a lot to do with how teams are winning.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have clunkers on the freaking base paths. But I still think just the stats that Freeman had, but there's 4 really good candidates that you really could just go with. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody's going to be upset with either 4. Because they all deserve it, but it's like, what do you put more stake into? And that's up to the fucking writers, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. I think this one's going to be weird. Who's winning the AL MVP?
I'd still feel like I would give it to Ohtani, even with all the time he missed.
It's Ohtani, period.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out like who else.
No one. That's the thing. Nothing's popping in your head, is it? No.
Well, it's either like Adolis Garcia, Corey Seager, Kyle Tucker.
Fuck him. No. It's Shohei for me, period.
I'm looking at you know what? It's gonna come down to Ohtani and Judge. How crazy is that? That's how good they both are. That they missed a third of the season each, and still had some of the best stats. I got so mad that Friday night when Judge just nuked 3 home runs against the Diamondbacks. I'm just like, well.
Yep.
Alrighty. Let's quickly go through these brackets. Blue Jays, Twins. Dave, who you got?
Blue Jays.
Ethan.
Blue Jays.
I also have the Blue Jays. We have the Blue Jays going on to face the Houston Astros. Rangers, Rays. Dave.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Rangers.
Ethan.
The Rays.
I'm going Rangers. So we got Rangers and Orioles. We got Diamondbacks, Brewers. Dave.
I'm going to go Diamondbacks.
Ethan.
Yeah, it's the Diamondbacks.
Only reason I am saying Diamondbacks is because Woodruff is injured.
They only need Merrill Kelly and Gallen to pitch really good for 2 games.
Yeah.
Well, they did that this weekend, and they lost both of them. So, to damn Astros.
They're due.
Also, Brandon Fact is starting game 1 against Corbin Burns.
I'm sorry.
So they're gonna have to win game 2 and 3, I think.
Probably.
Marlins Phillies.
Gee, I wonder who we're gonna pick.
It's gonna be Phillies Braves next round. All right.
Blue
Jays Astros. Dave.
Maybe controversial, but I'm still going Blue Jays.
Ethan.
Blue Jays.
Well, I'm voting Houston, but the Blue Jays are going to the American League Championship Series. Rangers Orioles. Dave.
Orioles.
Ethan.
Orioles.
Also, Orioles. The Orioles will be playing the Toronto Blue Jays, American League Championship Series. Diamondbacks Dodgers. Dave.
Sorry, but I think I got to go with the Dodgers on that one.
Ethan.
Dodgers are going to choke like they usually do.
I'm voting Dodgers. I'm a bad Diamondbacks fan because Diamondbacks haven't played good against Dodgers. So,
regular season doesn't count, Shane.
Well, Dodgers are going to the NL Championship Series. Phillies Braves. Dave.
Phillies. I'm sorry.
Repeat of last year. Phillies again.
Who's chucking the bat into the ground when they nuke one off of Spencer Strider this season?
Rhys Hoskins.
He's coming back. He'll be back for the. He'll be back for the.
They're talking about him being able to be there for the World Series. So I was like, nah, he's going to come back early.
I'm voting Harper to be the one to obnoxiously chuck a bat after he hits a big home run off of 1920s baseball star Spencer Strider. I'm also going Phillies. So he sure looks like he's going to throw fisticuffs with people. So Phillies going up against the Dodgers. Okay, Blue Jays Orioles. Dave.
Only because I picked them at the beginning of the year. I'll make it my spicy take and stick with the Blue Jays.
Ethan?
I'm only saying this because I don't want to see them in the World Series against the Phillies because it's going to break my heart. So, the Blue Jays.
Damn. I was going to vote Orioles. Blue Jays going to the World Series. It's 1993. Over again.
Exactly. That's what I told you that was going to happen. It needs to happen.
Dodgers, Phillies. Dave.
Gonna be the Phillies. That someone's gonna hit a moonshot like Matt Stairs did.
Well, it's easy to pick who that is. It's definitely going to be Schwarber.
It's going to be a repeat of 08 and 09 when the mighty Dodgers thought they were hot shit, talk shit, and didn't back it up. Kyle Schwarber hits one into the night. That ball still hasn't landed.
I will be going Phillies. So, Blue Jays, Phillies. Dave, who you got?
Well, Phillies have some unfinished business. This time they're going to take care.
Ethan?
So, unfortunately, we do have a wild thing again. Though, I feel like he will close it out, not unlike Mitch Williams, because there's no Joe Carter.
They're going to throw Strom out.
So Phillies
because he looks more like Wild Thing.
That would be beautiful. We should do that. Yes. Throw out Strom, but he gives up dingers, but so does Kimbrel. But no, they're going to put Alvarado in there 100%. And they're going to win it at home just like they did in 08. And if there's a game 6, I'm spending every single dime that I have and selling a kidney and everything else to get there.
And then we go to MLB.com survey that they sent to fans after we announced that we think the Phillies are winning the World Series. I think that was unanimous across the board. They have 64% voted Tampa to beat Texas. 62 voted Milwaukee to beat Arizona. Arizona. Yes.
Real American ball. A real human bartender.
Jackie Daytona. We all talk like this in Tucson, Arizona. We got Toronto, 71% of the vote against the Twins. I feel like I don't know who those 29% are. Who thought the Twins are going to win that?
They're from Minnesota.
Yeah, probably. And number 1 is the Phillies have 74% of the vote to beat the Marlins. We will be back.
That's like a 60-40. I'm sorry. That's a 60-40.
We will be back at the end of the World Series to talk about the playoffs and how they shook out. Hopefully some of us will be happy. And we'll be talking about who we think are going to pay $400 million for Shohei Ohtani this offseason. I would have said 500, but he can't pitch for another couple of seasons. But Dave, Ethan, thank you so much for coming on and talking some baseball.
Always a pleasure.
Arigato.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.